You're listening to the WBT Podcast with Michael Lodge. Listen to all of our podcasts at www.wbtpod.com. Stay informed. Let's get started.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
And welcome to the WBT with Michael Lodge. I'm glad that you've joined me. It's another Political Tuesday, and this is my time and your time that we sit together and we kind of use some common sense on what is going on out there in this world of ours. We have become so politically hateful that everybody is attacking everybody, and it's becoming very annoying. I know that you feel it, I feel it, everybody feels it. But the mainstream media, everybody out there, the pundits, the commentary people are out there saying nothing but negativeness about this nation and about the President of the United States and about American people. And it's got to stop. I mean, it just keeps going on and on and on. And every single day we turn on our televisions, we turn on our radio, we open up our paper, we go onto the internet, and what do we see? We see nothing but attack, 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 attack. Let's be honest. Why did the president go there? Why did the president go to Helsinki to meet with Putin? He had two objectives. One, to continue on the peace process with Russia, and to continue on the talks on nuclear disarmament. Not just between our two countries, but other countries like North Korea and people who hold nuclear threat to the world. And let's face it, even with us, we have nuclear arms, and people see us as a threat. Russia has nuclear arms, we see them as a threat. So the president's job was to go there and continue the conversation so that we continue to have peace between our two countries. And so far we've had good peace. The only issue that has come up is Russian meddling. But it's only come up because of politics. The Russians have been doing this for ages and ages. Even when I was a kid, during the Kennedy administration, the Russians were out there. They were still spying on us. They were still meddling with us. That is what they do. And I hate to say it, but we do the same thing. What do you think the NSA does? Come on, guys. Let's use some common sense here and say and be truthful that both countries do it to each other. Obama even went so far in his administration to go over to Israel and try to knock out the prime minister when he was running for the prime ministership. So, for the Democrats to act all high and mighty, and for the people on the right to act all high and mighty regarding this trip to meet with Putin, they're being stupid. Because they're using a trip for peace to make it political. And the people on the left and the right, they hate this. Because they see something being done. They see something being accomplished. Listen, communication is the most important part of a president. And the more that he communicates with these leaders, the better it becomes. Excuse me, I have a cough all of a sudden. The American people deserve a president who does what he says he's going to do. And so far, that's what the president has done. Now, I'll be the first one to admit that I did not support President Trump at the very beginning of when he was running for president. But what I saw was a different situation because I saw that we had a corrupt nation. And it has become more corrupt and more corrupt as time goes by here. We had departments that were running amok. We had things that were not being addressed. The truth was not being told. And so it was at that time that I saw this going on that I saw, okay, we need, just like in the corporate world, when something is not going right within a company, what happens? The board of directors calls in a hatchet man, and that hatchet man begins to chop away at everything that is not working correctly. Everything that is wrong. And let me tell you, the people hate a hatchet man. They hate him because they don't know what's going to happen to me. They begin to mistrust everything. They begin to start calling people names. And it becomes a very difficult situation for the American people. But we needed a hatchet man, so Trump was that hatchet man. Now, I may not like every word that he says. I may not like his past experiences. But the issue is, he's a hatchet man. And he needed to go into the United States government and begin hacking away at everything that was going wrong. Now, the people who he's hacking at are going to attack back. And they're going to attack back dirty, in which they have done. And they start calling him a traitor. They're calling him out for all sorts of ugliness that has nothing to do with him. Maxine Waters is probably one of the most biggest political mouths out there that just spreads nothing but hate. No solutions. Now you will start listening to these people as they attack the president, but they have no solutions for the problems that they're attacking him on. Elizabeth Warren is one of those types of individuals where she attacks, but let's talk about this, okay? The Russians have been doing this a long time. She has been a senator for a long time now. She knew about this situation. She gets the same briefings almost as sometimes the president gets. The issue is that she did nothing. She said nothing. And she said nothing until Trump became president. To me, that is disgraceful when politicians knew about all of these problems, but they did nothing about them. They just talk and they talk and they talk and they rant and they rave, but they do nothing. So we have a president that comes in and he starts doing things. He begins making changes and he begins cutting out things and he begins talking and having a dialogue with these nations who have been our enemies in the past. Because no one had the guts to actually go to them, talk with them, negotiate with them, and to get something done. You see, the difference between a businessman is that a businessman is dependent upon him doing something in order to be able to bring revenue in to support his business. So that businessman has to act very quickly. There are no debates. There are no committees that are sitting there in his way. He goes out and does it. A politician, on the other hand, will take it to subcommittee, to committee, to the Congress, and then back to the committee, and then back. Nothing ever gets done. Because the politics and the political agendas of these individuals outweigh the need of what Americans need. Or what Americans need to have done. To make their country safer, to make it more productive, make it more financially sound. And to help the American people get along on their way through life without the government control. So we have the people on the left who want to have more control over your life because they've become socialists now. Socialism has control over everything. They have control over your businesses, over your banks, over your every single aspect of your life. Socialism wants a piece of you. And in order to have a piece of you, they raise your taxes and they take more privileges and more rights away from you. And they begin attacking and chipping away day after day after day at the Constitution, which is the foundation of our law and order. And as Americans, we sit here and we say, what can we do? Because if we write our congressman, if we write our why did I come up with that? If we write our senator, we get nothing in response except a form letter about how good that they are doing in Congress or Senate. We no longer get answers from our representatives. So we have become a nation of taxation without representation. That's why we need term limits. Because we need to be able to have our voice heard where we live, within our community, within our states. We need our voice heard. But it's no longer being heard because a political agenda is pushing these representatives' motivation. Now let's get back to Russia just a little bit. Russia has been an adversary of our nation for many, many years. We know what we're up against. We know what we're living with. And we know the tricks. But when you have a leader, and we have had a lot of these kinds of leaders, who do nothing, who do not communicate, who do not have meetings with these people, then we have these situations coming up where now it's become political. And political hate right now is so dirty on the left and the right that Americans, I feel in my heart, are so frustrated and fed up that if they could, they'd probably march into Washington, go up into the House buildings and go up into the Senate buildings and start clearing out desks. Because Americans are fed up with the type of representation that we're having. Not one of these sides, the left and the right, can ever meet in the middle and get something done for America. It is this hateful relationship that we have now that is doing so much damage to our nation. So you and me as Americans, we sit here in our houses and in our offices and in our cars as we're driving to work, and we hear all this bombardment of hate against each other. But there's not one word where they say, okay, yes, we have a problem in the FBI. Let's clean house. Together, as one nation. We have a problem with Putin. Let's work together and get something solved. We have a problem with 700,000 homeless children in America that are not getting any help from government. Let's try. Let's work together to resolve this issue. No child should be homeless. But yet the Democrats will take 2,000 illegal aliens and devote the whole time to it because it's a political agenda of them. But American children get pushed to the side. Go look at the University of Chicago report that identified that there are 700,000 American children that are living without a home. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. But yet the Democrats go and they start protecting their illegal alien children who are here without parents. Which comes first, American children? Those who have no home? Those who have to survive day by day? Or the illegal alien children who are being fed every single day, who are getting education every single day, who have a warm place to stay? I was talking to one of my accountants who works for the Los Angeles Unified School District. One night, she was working late. It was probably about 7 o'clock in the evening. And there were 3 or 4 boys playing in the basketball section of the school outside. And she went out to them and said, "Hey, why are you guys still here? Why don't you go home?" And they said, "We have no home. We have no place to go. We're just spending our time here until it's time to go to sleep." When I hear stuff like that, it angers me down to the very depths of my heart, because here the Democrats will do nothing to help these American children, but they will bend over backwards. They will make trips down to the border to make sure that 2,000 children who do not have parents are okay. But we have children playing in the schoolyard in America who have no place to go to. So when I hear about this Russian deals and about how everybody is so angry about what the president didn't say, look at what he did say, and look at the issue that, one, we still have peace with Russia. Secondly, we're talking about reducing nuclear weapons between our two countries. Don't become political with me. Because when the president is doing his job, let him do his job. Because obviously, you people in Congress, you people in the Senate, and you people in mainstream media are not doing your job, and nor are you respectful to the rest of Americans. And that is the truth. When in the world are we as Americans going to start standing up for ourselves and say, hey, listen, we have problems here in the United States. We need for them to be addressed. The president is our diplomatic attaché to go and talk to these world leaders. But your job as a senator, your job as a congressman, is to take care of our home needs. What needs to happen here in our country. And for you in the mainstream media who are out there spreading this hate every single day, Americans have had enough of it. And if you don't start telling the truth, if you don't start reporting the news, we're going to start clicking off the dial and not listen to you anymore. So this Russian situation has been going on for a long time and no one did anything about it. And it wasn't until Trump sat down with these leaders within Russia and started to begin the dialogue once again of trying to make the ties between countries stronger, less hateful. That's where it begins. Things are not done overnight. Just because a president does not say the words that you want to hear does not mean that he is not doing his job, because he is doing his job. So start being a lover of America instead of a hater of America. Because every time you say something negative out there, you are attacking an American who voted for that individual. You're attacking an American who believes in the focus of what needs to happen with America. You're just like in corporate America. When the hatchet man comes in, all of you are so scared and you're running about and you're spreading rumors and you're spreading lies. Until finally the company is running smoother because everything has been cleaned out. The dirt and the grime and the misconduct of a corporation is cleaned out because a hatchet man has gone in and did his job. We as Americans, we look at achievement. And when we look at people, we see what have they done in their lives and what are they doing now where they are achieving something better than where they were before. And what's so funny about Trump is that even though you guys are out there digging into him every single moment of the day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, Trump continues to move forward in doing his job, keeping his promises to the American people. And here you do nothing but sound evil. Here's a president who's keeping his promises more than any other president in this nation. Yes, his management style might be a little different than what's been done before. Be a little bit smarter and think out of the box. Because sometimes we have to do things that are out of the norm in order to get things done. To keep our promises to whom we made them to. But if you are going to sit there as a Democrat and sit there as a Republican in the same old way, not being willing to bend, not being willing to look further down the road, not being willing to look at new ways of doing things, then the government becomes stagnant. It goes nowhere. It helps no one. It talks to no one. Because you still think that Russia is the enemy, but in fact you should be making them dialogue with you more so that you can understand them and they can understand you. Of course, you're not going to agree 100% with each other. That will never happen because we're human beings. But you can keep that dialogue open so that peace continues on. You continue that dialogue with people that you would never have talked to before, just so that a missile does not go over your country. Smart people keep the dialogue open. They keep their enemies close so that they know what is going on with them. The problem with the past presidents is that they kind of looked the other way. They knew something was going on, but they looked the other way. They felt, it's it's that country's responsibility to take care of that situation. So they looked the other way. So ISIS grew, and it grew by leaps and bounds. It began killing Christians, but no one said anything about those Christians dying, their heads being cut off. Children who were being sold into slavery, women who were being sold into sex slavery to ISIS. No one said anything about that, nor did they raise a hand. It's a sad situation. So now we have a president who's actually confronting those individuals and is cleaning house very well. But yet, the left remains evil. It's a strong word, evil, isn't it? But I use the word evil because what the left are trying to do is they're trying to divide a nation. And let me tell you, the devil, he loves to divide. He loves to make people angry. He loves to make people fight against themselves. To harass people. He loves that. So that is why I use the word evil, because that's exactly what the Democrats and the far left are trying to do. They're trying to divide, and that is evil. Because we as a nation should stand united. We should not fail by being divided. I love this walk away movement because people are, I'm seeing it on my Facebook page where people are coming out and they're saying the words that they've always wanted to say, but they couldn't because they were always deemed to be left. Whatever group that they were in, they were supposed to be left. They were supposed to be Democrats. But now they can come out and they can say whatever they want to say and say, listen, what is being done is wrong and I am standing differently now. Because I want America to be a different country. They don't want it to become a socialist country. They don't want it to become a leftist country. Walk Away has done a lot of good things. Simple idea of just walking away and being able to express how you feel about our country today. It's a great experience. And I love reading every single one of those stories because it will touch your heart. It really will. You hear people who always were taught to think a certain way, but then they found that way to be so exaggerated and so wrong that they decided to go right instead, central to right. And that is how America is formed, by being able to express our opinion and not being pinned down by what other people think you should be. So America, I'm just trying to talk with you today on this Political Tuesday and say, walk away from the mainstream media, walk away from the Democrats, walk away from the rhinos in the Republican Party who cannot think out of the box and want to keep you inside a box. Walk away from it. Be your own judgment. Put everything to the side and you guys make your own decisions. Don't spin. Stop the spin, because I'm getting so tired of hearing the spin. Because every spin can be destroyed with logic and common sense. So, let's end this right now and conclude that we need to use our own thinking power, our own common sense, and be guided what's right, and avoid those that sounds crazy and lunatical. Is there a word like lunatical? Lunatics. Because we are Americans and we make our own decisions. And the more people spread hate, walk away from them. Hate is the worst thing that has happened to this country in so long. I've never seen it this bad. And I've been around for a very, very long time. But I'm telling you, as an old man, talking to you as a friend, we need to walk away from this stupidity. And we need to be thinking more about what we as individuals can do for our communities and for our nation. And hate is not one of them. If you have hate, political hate in your heart, it's not going to get you anywhere. Replace it with doing something that is great for your community and great for your nation. Put the mainstream media to the side because they've become worthless. When entities start spreading hate every single day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, that's when we have to stop it. And we have to use our brains. So I ask you to join me today, and let's start being a little common sense here. Let's start using our brains. Now let's understand that hate is not the answer to solving the problems of our nation. Those that spout hate have no desire to bring change and prosperity to you and me. That's it for this Political Tuesday. If you have questions, just send me an email at mlodge@lodge-co.com and I'll try and answer it to you. Everybody go out there, have a good day. Remember, common sense is the answer to this nation.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.